Wyvern, the curse is great in this game. You can scale up as universal type. I don't know what Ahri will do with a support Ember. Then again, Mike, think about it. You run down with Flame Guard. You pop a couple of blood grenades. You have the Orb of Venom up, so you can chase heroes down with that good burn damage. There's that, I suppose.
I ain't judging yet. I'm waiting. I'm reserving judgment as I always try to do. Because every time I judge, I start looking like an idiot. So I'll reserve judgment for now. Zai is going to scan up the ward here on the high ground. Kasane is going to go right in for the Flame Breaker now. The arrow is going to land from Whitemon. It looks like a first blood already break out as they have got Zai down. TSM off to a fantastic start here in game number 1 against Team Liquid. And I suppose we can all agree their level 1 timing is actually pretty strong.
It is. I mean, you have to go chains on Ember, but this is Ember support, so I don't think you care about that too much. I mean, what else is he going to do in the lane to try to harass people out? Just try to set up with the chains and chase someone down. They're still looking for a little bit more if Liquid do overextend here.
Anyone watching, don't get any ideas. These are professionals. Do not try this at home. Trust me, I've had to experience a few pubs with these Mirana Ember Spirit supports back in the day. Back in 2020, as you said, John. Was not a good time for me, I'll tell you.
Oh, boy.
It was not a good time.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward for a good time here. They're starting with an early tri lane, of course, because you've got Chain's Arrow. That's who you run down. And Tomato is actually starting down bot. I believe they'll have Kasane walk up top, so you will get the AM versus the Medusa lane, which honestly isn't too bad, but it's also kind of awkward. Or levels.
Whoops.
Oh, how did that whiff?
How did Whitemon miss the arrow? Well, luckily we didn't see it on the camera anyway, John. So, you know, it never happened. It never happened, John. What arrow?
I suppose not. I suppose not. Tri-lane start once more for TSM. Ahri on the Ember, Tomato on the AM, Whitemon on the Mirana, up against TA2000. Of course, you can just gate out the pressure, and they will drag in Insania here to have a save in the disruption. So even if you land the Chain's Hour, you do have a saving play here, although maybe not for too long.
Oh, you could be in trouble now on the Mirana. You don't have leap yet. Whitemon at level 1 with Arrow, and they know it, so Whitemon is going to die. A very strong rotation here from Insania. Already securing a kill for the Medusa, and that's going to be a nice little bonus for TA2000 to get things started. Happy days.
Yep. Get some gold going. Again, the AM versus Medusa lane isn't the smoothest, so we'll take a look down the line when action breaks out there. Mid lane, you've got Nisha on that lone druid up against Bryle on the Winter Wyvern. Again, not too bad for the Winter Wyvern there. Should be pretty manageable. You stand back, you harass out with your Splinter Blast. You can't quite kill the bear easily unless you literally land like 3-4 Splinter Blasts continuously onto the bear. So there is some aggression that Nisha can still do, but it's not as easy to pull off in comparison to the Ember matchup of the draft of TSM, just basically wanting to dodge that hard lane, and results in this rather weird flex. But for the most part, again, Bryle not going to be zoned out. He should be able to farm, but his pacing into, say, his early timing of Atos, Ags, remains to be seen how fast that will be. I mean, you are running like an AM safe lane as well, so a lot of space will be shared between these two players, it feels like.
It looks like Ahri's actually going to TP out. Ahri's going to the top lane. No more tri-lane. Kasane was having a very good time up at top. Zai was being chased down and actually fell very low in the old HP pool. Mind you, Zai's actually found 9 CS on the Shaker, so it's not too bad of a start, but now Ahri's going to show up. Still level 1 though on the Ember, so you don't have the slide into the chain, sadly. Had he had it, you might have actually been able to dive for that. But now he gets level 2 after that creep dying. And so perhaps you could still try if Ahri does want to level up Sleight of Fist. Seems like he will go for it. There's your chains up. Blood Grenade is available from Ahri. He will connect it with Zai. And Zai, he does have the stick charges, so he will survive a little bit longer. And looks like he is actually going to make it.
Lasts true long enough. All the Shaker really needs to do is just maintain the lane, not die. You know, get some EXP, get a little bit of farm, but not too much pressure to fully overwhelm that lane. Kasane already getting a lot from that solo start. And they are just going to try to commit even further. You still have mana here for Zai though, so not a full threat. And the side of TSM could use some mana themselves. Ahri pops the clarity and loses the clarity, so that's not a good feeling.
They're still diving, but Omar's going to show up now. The clockwork, so Zai going to try and go after Kasane. Is Kasane just going to back off? Ari, nice cogs there from Omar to lock him in. Zai's looking for a Fisher. He will land one. The chain's out there from Ari trying to fight back, but no, Zai's got him. They will at least find Omar in the end, but Zai will be very thankful for that kill, I'm sure. So go for a bit more of a chase on Kasane, but thinks better of it. Again, Omar, you've got to give the man props, John. Another nice rotation here as the clock, and sets up another nice kill for one of his calls.
And he just punished that overextension coming out.
Zai?
Cool.
Nah, he's all right. Omar will come in with the salve. He's going to be just fine on the shaker.
Can be able to heal up. I love the aggression from both sides. They're just finding ways to pressure each other right now. A 2-2 start, less than 1k lead standing for TSM. In terms of CS, looking a little bit sharper for the side of Liquid. Again, not too much pressure in TA2000. They are still pumping pressure up top.
Kasane is going to be able to fly over the Fisher, of course. Ari, on the other hand, does not have that luxury, so Kasane is going to try to help, but a double stun out from Zai going to hold them down a little bit longer, and eventually Ari will just drop. The position for Ember Spirit, obviously at the level 2 mark, is not very mobile. And Liquid, they are punishing him heavily.
Yeah, there's not much you can do here. You're not running the tri lane to get the Chain's Arrow. Your combination with the Bat Rider, it's all right, but you kind of have to frontline. You don't have the best HP on hand. You don't have the shield and flame guard up to prevent some of that battery assault damage either. Very EXP dependent, this Ember support. We'll see how much more Ari can get. Perhaps if he can snipe out the Wisdom Rune, it starts to feel better. Right now, though, Zai at level 5. It's starting to feel like a force that you really don't want to trade with. With the Enchant Totem Harassment, if you do overcommit, he will block you off and really just kill you off. Like, the clockwork just feels great here. There's no direct punishment. Even though, I suppose Firefly theoretically should be one, you aren't really able to stand on top of Omar with that threat of the chain control coming out here from Liquid.
No, certainly not. And that mid lane, we haven't really talked about it too much here. Like, Brawl and Nisha have been going at it, and I tell you what, Nisha's having a very strong time in the mid lane at the moment. 34 and 15 on the Lone Druid. No struggles whatsoever here for Nisha. Brawl not too badly behind, sitting at 25 and 5. His top lane. Omar dropping very, very low. Ari, though, going to land the change. Omar will at least get the stick charges off, but now Zai is going to find himself in danger. Zai will give a double kill away to Kasane. Nice setup there from Ari, just baiting them forward, and well, the aggression does not pay off for Liquid this time.
Kasane's going to be very chuffed with that kill. Should get his level 6 off of this creep wave as well, so we'll have the threat of the lasso. Has his full arcane boots, going for the Vanguard next. So they're going to be able to sustain through and maintain that harass. You can see that isolation coming out from Ari. Good dodges out with a sleight of fist, and just get the cleanup as well.
Very low on mana now. But the arrow's not going to land. Whitemon again missing. Which means they won't have the damage output to finish off the Medusa, as now Tomato's going to be targeted, but he is going to be able to blink away. Mid lane, however, Nisha ends up going down. Bryle ends up committing the Winter's Curse, and that is one thing against the Lone Druid. Like, this curse is going to be very annoying for Nisha to try and deal with. As top lane, speaking of annoying to deal with, the Bat Rider able to secure Zai's life as well.
They're starting to find everything as the levels come out here on TSM. That Winter's Curse, again, a very good game for it. Into the Lone Druid, down the line, into Dedusa as well, if the A2000's within range. Just got a lot of ways of maximizing this Winter Wyvern mid. Bryle already has a couple of stats to really start to punish with his right clicks. That Arctic Burn starts to hurt a ton here. That's him without the Witchblade up as well. Starting to come in for the 8-minute runes. Ari just taking position up top. Ari on the Ember is also inching towards 6. With a Fire Radiance up, he's going to be really disruptive.
Chain's not going to land on Nisha, but they'll get the arrow from Whitemon. Nisha going to go down once again in the mid lane. Unable to morph into the true form. And that's what I was saying about Mirana players, John. There's some players out there that don't want the setup. They just land arrows better without it.
Yeah, it's happening for Whitemon. When he did get set up, you know, he whiffed one,
he
but that's all right.
Every time.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. You know, he's warming up. He's digesting that cereal that he made.
Oh, top lane. Echo Slam committed. Kasane being chased now. Not quite enough to finish the kill. The Zai does have Fisher, but he's waiting for Omar to try and close the gap here from the south as he does move in with the battery assault and the cogs. And eventually Kasane, dropping very low, does still have one charger, so will survive through it as now Ari's going to rotate. They'll try to go for a chase onto Zai. Flame Break, not going to quite knock him back, but the chain's around to lock him down. And Kasane does have lasso if necessary and will eventually commit it. Not looking to mess around here. They do find another great kill here into the off lane of Liquid. TSM already 3-8 their way, 2k advantage. And I'll tell you, every single lane apart from maybe the bottom lane has gone TSM's way.
Yeah, that's the one big difference maker, I think. Your start from Kasane now is pretty damn strong. Like, he can just disassembly Vanguard into the Octarine. Very hard to shove out with the Vanguard up and running Brawl. Again, trading a little bit more in farm with Nisha, but finding the kills. The threat of Curse just makes it uncomfy now for Nisha to drag that bear forward. And that Curse is back up for Brawl as they are clumping up mid here. So, the one thing with Liquid's draft, once you fall behind on the lone druid, you don't get that fast start you want. You're going to be sharing farm with Adusa, and she's going to eat a lot of space just to get her items up.
TA2000 is going to spot Whitemon on the tree line. Nisha's Spirit Bear is going to cop an arrow, but that's not too big of a deal.
Still going for the standard Battle Fury build here as well for Tomato. They're just looking to farm up. I guess in this lane now, kind of freed up, you should be able to get a decent timing, all things considered. You're forcing TA2000 to show up mid to kind of handle that lane coming out from Braille. So you're getting some breathing room on the AM, which is good news. This is still your win condition for the most part on TSM. And you can scale up with a Winter Wyvern, but Tomato is, you hear that, will be the solution to TA2000, so you do want that build up on him as well.
Bottom lane. Tomato, Kasane, both going for a bit of a dive past the tier 1 tower. Insania was spotted for a moment. Flame Break is going to connect. Arrow going to follow up, and Insania going to get stunned up here by Whitemon. Really has no way out. He's going to disrupt Kasane, but that's about all. Whitemon's still able to secure the kill here onto Insania. Liquid, they're in a very awkward position in this game already, where just none of the lanes went really that well. In fact, they pretty much lost every single lane, apart from again the safe lane, but that's a Medusa that's just going to want to hit creeps. So it does feel like going into the mid game for the side of Liquid, you are stuck playing a very defensive style of game, hoping that TSM do end up making some kind of an error that you can capitalize on. So far, TSM have not really shown too many errors, though I say that. Whitemon, he's going to get chased here by Nisha for a moment, but no lucky entangles coming out. Whitemon going to be just fine to survive through that. But even Nisha, like, he does need the time to keep his farm going on the lone druid. Even if his CS was looking very strong during that mid lane, as it seems like they have found themselves a target. Insania gonna avoid the arrow thanks to the illusions provided by his own disruption, as now Omar's gonna go for a hook in, but Ari will be able to just remnant away. Not a big deal for the Ember. Zai, very nice Fisher, but there's no follow-up to it.
He can't really play make on the side of Liquid all too well here. Again, we talked about this with a Clockwork pick, but no one can really follow through, and if you do commit a hook shot, unless you just run your bear up, Nisha's probably your best bet in kind of trying to set something up. Even then, he's not quite ready yet on the lone druid. So you're just going to spend the next few minutes, maybe 5 minutes at most, just farming up on a few of your cores here on Liquid's end. TSM, though, looking to be aggressive. Smoke out. Winter's Curse ready.
Could just go for it. Whitemon's waiting for maybe the setup for the arrow, but Curse never comes out. Bro, I believe did lose a bit of vision there on the tail end of that engagement. Meanwhile, Kasane's just taking these ancient stacks away. You really don't want to see this as Liquid. You need to try and contest this. TA2000 and Omar now going to show up to make sure this can't happen. Ari's going to show up to boot. Clockwork is going to get chained up, and the Flame Break is going to come out, though Zai does get a Fisher off, looking for perhaps an Echo Slam. Lasso is going to be there onto Zai. Zai is still chasing, will eventually commit the Echo onto Kasane, though he is a pretty tanky target on the Batrider, so he'll go for a run. Disruption is going to hold him down, however. Kasane is still dropping, but also still running. I don't know if they really have enough, but they do. The Fisher proving just enough damage here for Insania to finish the kill. It's now Ari being chased down here by Nisha and the Spirit Bear. But the entangles are just not coming out. The chase is back on here from Bryle. Insania going to be in danger as the arrow is going to fly through, but the illusions are not. Well, they are going to take the damage, but Insania, he will still drop. As now the mid-tier 1 tower is going to be under siege from TSM. Zai doesn't really have the Echo to play with, and now, well, the Winter's Curse is out. The Lone Druid can't survive the onslaught of the damage. Winter Wyvern against Lone Druid, John, this just tends to happen.
It's not a fun time for Nisha. And the one thing they get out of that fight is, you mentioned clear out the stacks with TA2000, so he does get the farm from the Ancients, but the cost is massive. Losing your Lone Druid again, you're trying to split farm between these two heroes, and it's costly to try to get that done. A little bit of a move out from Omar. He will snag away one of the Wisdom Runes. That should be 2 Wisdom Runes going the way of Liquid. So a little bit of a boon coming out there at the very least, but TSM don't mind. They're ramping up here.
Zai chases on. Chains. No mana for it here for Ari, just committing the Sleight of Fist, but didn't have quite enough to get the follow-up chains. So at least Zai will be able to escape just fine. It's Whitemon. Looking for a few D wards. Is going to run into Nisha, but is forced to leap away. Still a 5k advantage being held for TSM. They are slowly grouping up down bottom, perhaps looking at Tomato, but that AM is going to prove to be a pretty challenging kill to try and go after.
Radiant's top tower has
And instead, now TSM, they are slowly rotating into the bottom side of the map. Moonlight Shadow has been popped. Zai and Omar both going to be found out. No sentries here to actually scout this out, as the chains into the arrow is going to land, and Omar, he is going to be the sacrificial target. So he has no gameplay to get out. I mean, he did have a hook shot, but it probably wasn't going to be enough. And Bryle, well, he'll hand the tip over to Tomato for some apparent reason. Tomato was just kind of watching all this happen.
Yeah, maybe they were expecting him to jump in, look for a little bit more. Instead, it's an AM. Tomato likes to farm. This is known from the way he's always played. And he's getting that farm ramping up now. Full Battle Fury up for Tomato. Gonna go back into jungle, farm up a little bit more while the rest of his team starts to play aggressive. The Curse still ready to go here.
Mid lane, Zai again being caught out here on the shake-up. Ari not going to leave this man alone as Zai trying to run. Sleight of Fist will be there, doing no damage, but it won't matter because Brawl has the damage necessary. Meanwhile, in the Radiant Triangle though, Kasane's dropping low, but a nice hook juke. Still trying to run. Will fly over towards the top side, but the T2 tower now attacking him and he's going to die. A little bit unfortunate there for Kasane. Nevertheless, TA2000 probably very happy to secure that kill for himself.
That's a nice boon here for the Dusa. Manta already up, so some stats to play with, going for the Butterfly next, hoping that the evasion is going to be enough to save him from something like the AM or even a Curse coming out here.
Mid lane, they're going to try for the Medusa now. They don't really have the lockdown for her though. Like maybe Chain's arrow could have done the job, but it's not like the Winter Wyvern's Arctic Burn does that much damage to a Medusa, so a little bit more than that. Maybe a nice curse on the Medusa, you know, surrounded by perhaps the Spirit Bear could do the trick. Omar mid lane. Trying to stop Bryle from pushing the wave in, but Ari is hanging around. They seem to know TA2000 might be just above them, but they're actually going to pop a smoke and run towards the west of the map, where Nisha is currently hanging about on the Lone Druid. If he gets cursed, he's as good as dead as long as that Spirit Bear is hitting him. Ari, smoke broken, does not see the Lone Druid. Instead, he will run into Zai, so they're going to go after the Shaker. Having no idea that Nisha is there, Arrow's going to land perfectly here from Whitemon, but the side of Liquid are moving in. Hookshot is out. They've got Brawl locked down already. A nice Fisher landing onto 4 heroes by Zai, but Brawl is somehow still alive. With the Cold Embrace, he's buying time, but the curse never comes out. Never gets the curse off. There's Liquid. They'll try for a little bit more. Ari, a bit of a sitting duck now. Does still have a remnant to play with. Disruption will hold him down. Cox pushback. Oh, Omar. Nevertheless, remnants are still available and Ari is going to drop. It's TSM unable to protect their Pulse 4 Ember. And Liquid, pretty happy with that, I'm sure.
Those are big kills for Liquid to find. TSM, their smoke breaks in the wrong spot. They don't manage to find Nisha. They go for Zai first, but they're not in position for that kill. And Ari, his smoke breaks under the creep wave. That gives that opening out to the side of Liquid. Still, they're going to try to keep forcing this one out.
Yeah, Nisha going to be targeted, but does get the fear off. Kasane's not done yet, though. He has the lasso up and ready to go. However, the entangle going to lock him down. Omar going to hook shot in. Kasane, he'll go for the lasso on the bear, but it is not anywhere near enough to survive. There's now the Echo Slam. Zai somehow still alive top lane. The curse will come out to ensure they get the kill. But Bryle, can he get himself out? It seems like he can. Omar is going to drop in. Nisha trying to TP away on the lone druid is going to be just fine. Close call there for TSM. Almost losing Bryle on the Winter Wyvern, but just barely get away with his life intact.
Yeah, it's a little bit trolly from TSM. You know, Kasane just running in, ignoring the bear, wanting the lasso on the lone druid, but not finding it, gets punished for it. Still, follow-up fight for TSM works out in their favor. You still need to get a grip on TA2000. This butterfly timing is going to be really on point from the Medusa. You're going to need an MKB to come through here from Tomato sometime soon, just to deal with that evasion on TA2000. But right now, he's still just going through into the halberd, trying to get into the Manta as well. Going to be a ways off until he realizes he might need that MKB. I think for the side of TSM, and this game has been pretty smooth going outside of a couple of bad fights off the back of some awkward positions in these smoke rotations. If they just kind of clean that up, get these better jumps, prioritize Nisha and the movement out, then it becomes a lot better. Again, you've got the counter to the lone druid, you just need to leverage it. Just find the angle. It's Kasane.
Bottom lane. Kasane completely surrounded. Trying to split push the bottom lane. Does get punished immediately here by Liquid. Liquid still showing signs of life here in game one. The TSM now grouping up top lane, looking for another target for themselves. Well, TA2000 is that target that they'd probably love to make the jump on. But he is okay. His team tipping right towards him just in case the gank is incoming. There is a butterfly now available on that Deucer as well, by the way, John. So suddenly TA2000 not only harder to deal with, but is hitting a lot harder. Zomar is going to go for a hook in, but Whitemon is okay to leap out. Zomar now going to be targeted by Tomato, but Tomato doesn't want to run up to the triangle completely blind. We'll just wait it out. It's TSM still hanging around this area. We'll try to get some wards down. It seems like Liquid, in the end, are going to be the ones to back their way out of here. Mind you, even if TSM are having a very strong start to this game, you still can't underestimate this Medusa, John. Like TA2000, butterfly up, is going to make it so if Tomato does try to jump in with his team, he's going to have a much harder time burning through the mana pool.
Yeah.
It is still Medusa.
Goes back to what we were saying earlier. Like, Tomato needs to recognize this, maybe not go all in on the Heaven's Halberd and Manta. Still going for the S and Y though, but needs an MKB ASAP right after. So we'll see just how he itemizes. I believe he is still actually going for the disarm, which is still useful against all the physical output of Liquid, but and you don't have a straightforward solution for TA2000 now, just because of that evasion. Does increase his EHP by a drastic amount. We'll see what Tomato does opt for. 5k lead still stands for TSM, but as the game scales on, this game doesn't get any simpler for TSM. It does simplify a little bit for Liquid, as long as they stay disciplined in how they position in these fights. With a lone druid and Dusa, you have a lot of ways of finding some angles in here. You have a lot of ways to be disruptive with your clockwork as well. They will go into the Roshan with the output they've got with Nisha and the Desolator on that bear. It doesn't take too long here. TSM have to find an angle in.
They're trying to get there now. Kasane, he's on the front lines. Roshan's still relatively healthy. They have time to get here. Bryle trying to get some vision from his side. Zai, though, a nice Fisher, already finding the Wyvern. Bryle trying to back off. He's just so important for this team fight. They'll move in now onto Tomato, but Tomato getting feared up. Meanwhile, Bryle still being focused. Zai not letting him leave. But Bryle will get the curse off in the end. It's just not going to matter, though. Insania, he's there with the disruption. So no damage coming off during the Winter's Curse. And Roshan should still go the way of Liquid. And they will secure. TSM, they have to leave the area.
This is...
Tomato. Hook is there. Cogs push back out. Zai trying to hold him down long enough. Tomato, though, disrupted now. Can he leave? It doesn't seem like a Tomato. Oh, boy. Here we go. Ari, he is also going to drop. And you may assume as the AM they would not have that much lockdown.
Dire's
But with the
bottom
Kong's
tower is
pushback
under
after the
attack.
hook shot, and the fact that you have the disruption after all the stuns of Zai, they have got the lockdown for Tomato.
Yeah, they can space out their stun usage just fine to keep that chain stun control. Again, for TSM, it's looking really hasty in how they start these fights. Bryle's just running up front, not being able to hold himself back, maybe allowing someone like Kasane or Ari to break that smoke first and find an angle in. They keep starting with their cores. TSM, they've done this a couple of times now. Up top with Kasane and Ari kind of breaking their smokes first, just not get... Their positioning's not good from TSM. Just bluntly, they're running in kind of a bit too aggressively and not thinking
Kasane.
twice about how they take these fights.
Dire's middle
Omar's
tower
been very
is
good on the
under
clockwork, John. Hookshot and Kong's pushback was there on Kasane, forcing him to go for the lasso, but Insania, trying to break the gap, looking for a disruption, does end up getting the purge off. In fact, that was the demonic cleanse, I believe, onto Omar, just to make sure he does remain alive, as Kasane was unable to TP out, is stuck in the low ground, but does wait for the Fireflies. In the meantime, Ari, mid lane, is actually going to go down to TA2000.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Gets rooted a couple of times. Really easy to follow through once that Ember's locked in. As a support, you don't have much durability here.
Zai,
And
he's got the echo here, John. To set up for his team, the Glimmer Cape will be committed.
Radiant's
Zai trying to
bottom
really
tower
sneak
is
up
under
here, but
attack.
cannot find himself a target.
TSM just dropping the ball a little bit. They had such a good lead. Their lineup was kind of geared for this really early aggression. Now they're going to have to fall back for a little bit more scaling. The Ags is fully up for Brawl at the very
Radiant's
least,
bottom
but
tower is under
have to be a
attack.
bit cautious here.
Liquid barely missing out on Kasane.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
TSM, they are around the area, but Liquid seem to be the ones that feel like they can get aggressive here. They are looking very, very strong at the moment. It's Kasane again going to reveal himself. This time though, the hook shot is off the mark. Kasane, he's still going to try and go for a run. The arrow will not connect onto the Medusa. Fisher is going to lock down the Bat Rider, but Kasane is able to fly over it, as TSM have survived
Dire's top
the initiation here from Liquid. But they need to find a way to defend this top tier 2 tower. You've got all your spells up, apart from the Moonlight Shadow, which was already committed. They are still looking for a way to get onto TA2000, but this is a very tanky Medusa.
Dire's top
They're just
tower
letting
is under
Nisha
attack.
do all the damage onto the tier 2 top, and it is just gone. TSM finding no way to defend.
Yeah, they have no easy way to start these fights. Again, they're just standing up front, baiting with Kasane, but the follow-through is not there. I'm really curious about this skill build on Ari as he gets chased down a little bit.
Hook shot, Omar right on target. 0-6 and 13 is the scoreline from Ari, and you know, John, he had a good start to the game, but this is feeling like where the position for Ember starts to drop off quite a bit. As Zai will jump in, Whitemon being caught now, the Echo Slam. No hesitation from Zai, just wants the kill, and he'll get the kill.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Yeah, it's again, I'm not sure what's happening with TSM. It looks really disconnected. Liquid, despite a slower start, they regroup, they buy space for TA2000, they start to find some punishment. The build-up's there for Nisha as well. They're in a strong position to just hold on to this advantage now, unless they clump up, but we haven't seen them clump up against this curse any times recently. For TSM, what I'm looking at right now is certain things like, say, Ari's skill build. Like, he's going for Flame Guard over Searing Chains, leaving Chains at 1.5 duration. Even if you're playing for the Chains Arrow combination, that's not enough of a lockdown period to fully get your max usage of the Sacred Arrow. Like, sure, the Flame Guard gives you a lot more presence and protection as well from some magic damage, but it does mean your offensive capabilities on the Ember here in terms of setup isn't quite there. Kasane going for a Halberd over an earlier BKB or a Blink means that, yes, you've got some ways of stopping the damage of the Bear, stopping the damage of Medusa. You, again, don't have a way of starting these fights. You're just kind of hinging on someone running up and hoping you can get a lasso, find an opening that way, and that has been what TSM's doing, just running up, hoping someone misplays, but every single time it's TSM that's kind of out of position, trying to play like this, just a little bit reckless. This will be fixed with itemization down the line, but it's going to take a lot of time. Tomato not even opting for that MKB we were talking about. See, he doesn't even seem to care about that butterfly. Perhaps a source of break down the line would be the solution here. Maybe a full blood torrent on someone could be the way to go as well, but as it stands now, you have no solid answer for TA2000. The butterfly alone is just enough to keep him survivable.
It certainly is, and the thing is for TSM, like, this series is so important for them to try and move their way up through the group stage. So it's like, the way this game's going right now, it's not looking too healthy, and they need to find an answer to this game one, because Liquid, not a team to bow out. They take every game seriously, and they certainly have come to play today. It's TSM, they're looking for an opening here down at this bottom tier 2 tower. Nobody's around to push the creep wave out, because Team Liquid, they've smoked up themselves. They're around the dire triangle right now, just waiting for somebody from TSM to show up. The rocket flare may give that kind of information over, as they will see the direction it did come from. So TSM, rather than fighting, will go after the bottom tier 2, but the problem is now Liquid are looking towards that mid tier 3 tower, and with the Spirit Bear up, it is not going to take very long. Nisha just rips the tower a new one. Liquid, they might even stick for a mid-Rax, but it seems like they're going to be happy just forcing all these rotations from TSM. They could just decide to retreat and take over most of the map here. You wouldn't quite blame them for that, but it seems like TA2000 might be giving them the call to keep going. This Medusa is huge at the moment. And there's going to be a smoke out. They want to try. Who can they find first, though? Tomato, he would be huge. If he gets caught out here, it could be a real big problem for TSM. Fisher's out to lock him down immediately. However, a lasso, he's going to catch Insania. They want the Shadow Demon gone, and they will get him. A nice start for TSM. It's TA2000 defensively will pop the Stone Gaze, but TSM, they are well and truly on the chase now. Thing is, Liquid are proving to be way too quick on the retreat. Omar, being really the only one left here in the clockwork, will block the staircase with the cogs. Zai thinking about going back in. A nice hook shot from Omar, but he does not get his way out. TSM still looking for a big chase. Could not catch Zai. Tomato having a look around for the Medusa. Can't find him either. So just two supports going the way of TSM, but they do successfully defend high ground, which I think is the much more important aspect of this fight.
They hold on to their objectives. And the blink from Kasane giving them something to play with to start off these fights, taking away that defensive support in Insania with Shadow Demon. That's a big showing from the side of TSM. I feel like at this point you kind of just give Bryle a blink as well, right? Like if he just blinks up there and gets a curse.
Nice TP in from Insania. He's cutting off Kasane. TA2000 was actually following him the whole time, so now the Bat Rider are going to get caught with his pants down in the south of this map.
But never equal.
Zai happily taking the kill on the Shaker. Top lane, even another chase happening. Ari gonna get cut off here by Zai. One stun is there. Hookshot to follow up from Omar into the Cox pushback, and now the fear out from Nisha. Oh boy. I mean, I gotta give props to Omar here, John. This Clockwork's been doing a lot of work.
He has been. It's from the laning phase. His movement's been on point. His hook shots, he's been setting up. The pushback with the cogs have been giving him a lot of openings on the side of Liquid. TSM, again, they're trying to work the map. They're trying to split up. It's being punished severely. Bryle is trying to go for a Shadow Blade, perhaps into the Silver Edge, which is one way to kind of try to reach into the back line. I'd still say a blink is preferable, because you saw that positioning a while ago when they were sieging high ground. If you could just blink a curse, you just win that fight, right? Like, you just lock in, curse up either the Lone Druid or the Medusa, and there's no way you lose. You've got enough output coming in from Liquid's own course to find that kill. But again, just opting to go full in on the right click. And Tomato as well, trying to get the full Abyssal first into the Scotty. No sign of any MKB nearby. So this evasion coming through from TA2000 is always going to be effective. Roshan, half a minute. TSM, we've seen them in this position before. Have to see something better in this fight.
I mean, Roshan is just so important here for TSM to try and secure. Liquid waiting by the high ground of the Twin Gates. TA2000 very confident in being able to tank the initial damage that will come in from TSM. Roshan now officially respawning. In they go. Lasso is there. They want to start with Insania. He's still alive, but now the Echo Slam! Zai's in! He found 3 targets, but then no one's down yet. Zai is the one to drop first as they've got Insania. 2 down for Liquid. Ari about to fall himself. They'll lose Kasane, they'll lose Ari. And now Bryle, he's on the run. He'll jump off the map here with the Arctic Burn and TP away. Whitemon even running as TA2000. Still on the chase, hoping for a little bit more. Probably won't find him, but they can go back for Roshan now. And it seems like Nisha has already started.
No stopping this now from TSM. TSM again, they make this choice with the smoke. They come in, they de-ward first, revealing the smoke, allowing Liquid to pull back. Like if you take a look at replay, this fight all breaks out because they de-warded right by the Lotus pool. And suddenly their position was compromised. They get the good lasso onto Insania, but they're clumped up against a Shaker. So they get slammed down. They don't get that burst they'd want on the Shadow Demon save, which means you can't get a comfy Winter's Curse out, and it just falls apart. On TSM, they have to execute perfectly, whereas Liquid, they just need to wait for one slip-up in that chain of events, and they can just blow up any fight their way. TSM, they'll try to smoke out here, but I don't know if you can find a fight. Aegis up on TA2000, she's up on Nisha. No MKB in sight, no good curses coming out. Chris is ready once more from Bryle here, though, at the least.
Nisha, oh, not again. Bryle, he won't quite get the curse he wanted. He will not quite get it. The bear actually healing him up through the life steal, but it's still not going to be enough. Nisha's down. It's kind of the thing, even through the curse, if you don't catch the Spirit Bear, it can kind of provide the heal you need to stay alive as the lone druid. But nevertheless, not this time. Not against 3 heroes.
Nah, they managed to get something. Not the big fight they'd want, but a big pick-off at the least coming out here for the side of TSM. Should help Bryle accelerate into that Shadow Blade, into the Silver Edge, to have a little bit more output in the middle of this. Curse is down. There's a little bit of an opening for Liquid, but without the Spirit Bear, it can be a little bit of a slower process. Still a safe process, though, with just the Naga Illusion army being put out here.
Oh, absolutely.
An early fortify from TSM. Not going to have too many options once that Lone Root is up, and if they look for a push in the next 5 minutes here.
They need to try and defend this somehow. Rangedrax is going to go down. It's Liquid, they could still try and just throw illusions out over and over again, but it seems like they'd rather just reset and come back another time. Rangedrax is better than no Rax, so they'll take what they get. 2k ahead is Liquid, but that really doesn't feel like it matters right now because TSM have been struggling to find any kind of advantageous fight for themselves. And Tomato, at the very least, needs an MKB to confidently try and go after the Medusa. Evasion is causing a lot of problems. Bottom lane, Ari, again being caught out, is going to fall. More heroes incoming though. Tomato, he's going to jump in on his own. Insania will be able to Glimmer Cape and survive. Now the fear out from Nisha. Fisher to land. Tomato, what have you done? He's going to still be able to blink away just barely. Just barely. Zai was forced to commit the Echo to try and hold him down. Omar, he's going to move in. Whitemon will be targeted. A curse out on the Spirit Bear just to try and get away. The Stone Gaze has been popped. TA2000, he'll go for the chase onto Bryle, but Bryle's going to be fine. Meanwhile, Kasane, he'll pick up Zai with the lasso, though Zai is still running. TA2000's going to hold him back. There's your Mana Void. Hook shot off the mark from Omar. Omar now in trouble. He will barely survive, though, thanks to the Demonic Cleanse. He will heal up, but Tomato's jumping back in on the AM. Omar in trouble. Omar should drop, but no, the fear comes out. Nisha's not having it. Nisha will not have it. They continue for more. Bryle will be able to escape with the Shadow Blade. But that was not the fight TSM wanted.
Could have gone so well if they didn't overcommit on Tomato. If they didn't lose that AM, I think that fight would have been a perfectly fine fight to sacrifice Ari for. You find some pickoffs, you force out some spells, you can go back, reset, come back in when the curse is up. Down the AM for a minute, you do have buyback available, but Lone Druid and Dusa is up with Aegis still running.
TA, he's already half mana here, John. Manta style trying to run. Very, very hard to expect them to get this kill, though, without the curse and without the AM up. The mid-Rax is going to fall. We'll try and at least deal with the Spirit Bear, and it looks like they might just get him. And they will. Plus 300 for Bryle. But they need a lot more than gold right now. I'll tell you, John, TSM, they are struggling to find a way to defend high ground. TA2000 so confident with the Aegis up to continue going. Tomato, he still has 18 seconds on the respawn board. Still chipping away at the mana pool. TA2000 gonna run out now. Again, does have the secondary life, so is not too concerned. That demonic cleanse proving to be so annoying here from Insania. And TA2000, I mean, he is burning out to the damage, but it's not enough. He'll survive on 44 HP.
Gonna get a reset out from the Aegis rather soon as well. So not too much to be worried about here. Liquid with 9k lead, 22 to 23. 2 racks is up. TSM, again, they were in control earlier on. They've just dropped quite a few fights. They managed to find a little bit of a better fight down south, but even that ends up a little bit scrappy. On the side of TSM, just trying to get into those MKBs now. Tomato finally queuing it up after finishing the Abyssal, Manta, and Halberd. You're seeing Bryle also work into the MKB. I'm just a bit surprised we're not seeing anything like, say, Bryle with a blink. Maybe feeling confident enough with a Shadow Blade. They do have enough detection because you're also dealing with Moonlight Shadow here anyway. So it's not the easiest game to just sneak around. And now with a full gem up on Insania, even harder to find that angle in for a good curse. TSM not fully out of it, but with 2 racks down, up against the scaling lineup of Liquid, this is not an easy game. It was maybe a little bit more manageable earlier on, but certainly right now it has to be perfect execution coming out going forward.
It's just such an important game though for TSM. Like, even if they tie out this series, it's not what they wanted. They want the 2-0 victory. Liquid looking to deny that away from TSM here as they are going to find themselves a haste rune. TA2000 probably going to take that. Jump in is there, Zai onto the high ground, scouts out the Moonlight Shadow, but he has been dusted up. Fish is going to hold Kasane, but the lasso is there. Zai is down, no buyback available. Now the curse is out. TA2000, he's taking no damage. Meanwhile, Lamar has jumped in, Cogs out, but it's not going to help his cause. He's down. Kasane, though, dropping very low, is able to walk away for now. Insania, he will be the 3rd to go as Liquid. They are dropping bodies like flies at the moment. They need everyone else out. TA2000 and Nisha. They'll run towards the west. Fear is there from the Spirit Bear. At the very least, they should be able to pick that one off, and they do. Kasane is still hunting. Lasso up in 1. Nisha's been scouted. Kasane, he'll go for the lasso. TA2000's thinking about sticking around. It looks like he will. Omar buys back, but they've lost Nisha. They have lost Nisha. It's TA2000. The chase continues. They are not done. Flame break to connect. TA, he'll pop the Manta, he'll pop the Invis. The Shadow Blade proving not to be enough, but he'll go for the man fight instead with the BKB. It's now Nisha. He'll return with the bear. They've got the Ags up, so the bear can keep going. They did not expect that apparently, as Whitemon does drop.
Good punishment out from the side of Liquid. TSM still with the big kills, finding 4 for their trouble, not just the Dusa that they can't deal with. The curse was solid, but not ideal. Just setting up for the retreat in the last time on Bryle's usage. Still, MKB up on Bryle. Tomato would have the MKB as well if his courier didn't drop. Still going to have it up rather soon. With those solutions on hand, you can manage TA2000, but again, you have to watch your angles here.
Jump in. Kasane not getting the lasso he wants. TA2000 slowed up by the Splinter Blast of Bryle. Lord of Atos juked up by the Manta. They will retreat once again. Even with 2 racks up, they respect the side of TSM and how strong their draft can be. Just a 4k advantage between the two, but Dota Plus sitting at 72% win chance here for Liquid. 28% chance still remaining for TSM. One big team fight will do the trick here for the dire end of things. Liquid just looking to play a slower game now, having the advantage they've been looking for. There's just so much scaling on Liquid as well, right? Like, you've still got Zai who could buy so many items. You've got the Spirit Bear and the actual Lone Druid himself that can just keep building into items.
True. It's not the safest to try to just scale up, though. Up against a Winter Wyvern. It's always the threat of curse, right? You can't count TSM out as long as Bryle manages to nail a big curse. To be fair here, he hasn't quite done that in And in all of these fights, none of the curses have been that impactful. But if you can land it with how farmed you are on Liquid, you're sitting on a little bit of a trap that TSM can just spring. Again, if they find the angle. It's just really difficult for TSM to work out how to approach these fights. Kasane's been pretty on point with the lassos coming through. They are starting to group up for Roche. A minute until that's up. Both sides just starting to camp through that area. So, having a good idea as to what the next big focal point will be. Even more halberds coming out from TSM. Whitemon having one now as well. Kasane doesn't make his way over. With these ninja gears, angled shouldn't be as hard, although...
Fisher, it's on 2. He's locked them down for a while. Kasane somehow alive, but eventually will drop. The buyback is immediate from Kasane. Roshan's got 35 seconds till it's off the clock. Insania gonna try and save the bear with the demonic cleanse, and we'll be able to do so. Nisha's bear is fine. Smoke out from TSM immediately. Still 20 seconds left for Roshan, but Zai's found him another time. Same position. Kasane. He'll move in onto Omar. Omar looking to move out, but the arrow flying from a mile away, barely juked out as TA2000 now. He's popped the BKB, going right after Bryle. Bryle will run out of range, but no, Zai's got him. No buyback for Bryle. This should be a free Roshan to go the way of Liquid. And that is if they don't want to go high ground. They could just rush for that instead. But they will go for the safer route. They'll play for Roshan.
That will give some time for the respawn to kick back in. But again, TSM, a little bit hasty and jump in, not respecting the exact same angle from Zai, getting caught out from that flank twice in a row. With Aegis up once more, with a couple more cheeses on hand. And this fight, it's not impossible for TSM, but boy, do they make it hard for themselves here, Mike. Again, the curse just not coming out on Bryle, being so far forward on that Winter Wyvern, trying to find an opening. The pressure is on for TSM, but they're being a bit too hasty. They need to reel it back in, play as a team. Just start with Kasane. Heck, even start with Tomato first. He's a little bit tankier. And have them cop the hits, force the clump up, and then get that curse out. Just one curse is necessary here.
It's going down real quick here. I agree with you, John. You need a big curse to really turn this game around here for TSM. But they've got 10 seconds before they have that curse even available. The bottom racks, they are gone. Megas are incoming. Liquid in a very strong position. TSM obviously not looking to call it. They're playing for so much here, TSM. Fighting for their lives in group number A. Excuse me, group letter A. Before you correct me, Jonathan. They do have the Octarine Core coming out here for Zai. Smoke is up immediately. Team Liquid, they're going to try and put a nail in the coffin here of TSM in this game 1. Top lane, Tomato, he'd be the perfect target to capitalize off. Oh, and he shows himself as well. This is not the timing. Hook shot, it actually doesn't land, but the Echo Slam is going to be there from Zai. Fisher does go. Tomato looking for a blink. We'll get him at the Purge. Insania has the damage. There is buyback on the AM, but he will need to commit, I believe. So they can't defend without Tomato. There's no way. Jump in. Kasane, he's found Insania. It's a nice target. There is a buyback available, but Insania will not commit yet. There's no TP point for the Shadow Demon to return. Tier 4 towers. They're going to be under siege. Insania, he'll run the long way. Nisha Spirit Bear, he'll lose it the first time by the looks of it, but no, the cheese is there. He'll let it eat that. Nisha, still going. So is TA2000. Where's the buyback from Tomato? It's not out yet. There it is. He'll finally commit. Back onto the Spirit Bear. They need this bear gone. It is finally down. It's at least one real hero gone now. This TA2000, he'll be rooted in place, but can they hold him down? The answer is no. He is able to walk away. Tomato is still scouting about, but cannot find a target. Not a safe one to take anyway. And so TSM, they are holding on, but against Megas with no tier 4 towers, they are in dire straits.
And this is not a fun time for TSM. They're truly playing Defense of the Ancients right now, and they can handle the Mega Creeps to an extent with the heroes they have on hand. A Winter Wyvern and an AM can still kind of shove those lanes out, but it's difficult. They'll try to smoke out now. Don't know how much you can find. Again, just one curse. One curse is all they need.
Zai's gonna get caught. That's a good start. Zai is down.
Ooh. No buyback.
If they could find a fight now, John. Thing is, Liquid, they're being very conservative with their gameplay. They will back off. Just retreat. Wait for your full squad to be back up. There's no need to rush this game one. The Moonlight Shadow is going to be there. TSM looking for a chase. Problem is, I do believe they've been scouted, and there you go. They were underneath a sentry and an observer ward at the same time. So Liquid are very well aware that the Moonlight Shadow was committed to try and go for a big pursuit. It's getting so bad for TSM. Even Omar's got the scythe device up now on the clockwork. So Tomato has an even more challenging time on his hands. Keeping in mind he has no buyback. Lasso has been committed. They want to start with Insania, but they don't line up the arrow, so Insania's actually survived for a little bit, but no, he is gone. Whitemon does drop as well, so it'll be a 1-for-1. But keep in mind, Insania does die back. Hookshot, that is on an illusion. Omar, he'll put the thumbs up.
Yeah. It's a little bit tricky. TSM, they're leaving Brawl in the base to handle the creeps shoving in, so they don't have that Winter Wyvern core here to help manage that follow-up fight. Doesn't look like they'll be able to find an opportunity. Liquid still with the Aegis for half a minute. Not too much time left, to be fair. So it might not be the safest to try to siege. But you do have Nisha with a bear. Perhaps just wait out the resummon, just so you have the double bear ready to go. That is still a minute 20 away. So a little bit of time here for TSM to try to reel their way back into this game, or just keep holding out.
Kasane locked down already. The bear not getting lucky with an entangle, so Kasane is okay. They will lasso up the Spirit Bear. This is the big problem right now that TSM has to deal with. Is these bears from Nisha have proven to be so damn strong. And sadly, even after all that committal, it will make its way out.
Just too durable. And that would have been the opportunity to take the bear without the resummon. Would have been a great follow-up fight for TSM to find. Liquid just dancing around. They throw out Deuce Illusions as well to hit the Ancient, forcing a response out from TSM. For the side of TSM, at the very least, Lasso not too long of a cooldown now with the Octarine up. So you're going to have it back up now. Just need to find an angle. Need to find a fight somehow.
Pings out on Zai. They know the Earthshaker's up north. Moonlight Shadow has been popped, but Zai, realizing something is a little bit awry, let's pop his Glimmer Cape. Kasane, though, going to run into him. Zai not fully aware they are coming. Zai should just be gone. And he will be. Braille will take the kill. So buying themselves more time is TSM. Liquid, again, probably not going to rush the base without their Earthshaker up. That does give TSM a longer opportunity to try and get some big items up, but I'm not sure what they're looking for here, John. In a game against Megas, it's like, what can you even build to bring on the comeback?
I'm not sure. I'm looking at what they have on hand. It's difficult to say. Maybe just an Ag's Blessing for Tomato allows them to take these fights a little bit easier, get the blink fragment spam going, keep sending them out towards, say, the Lone Druid or the Dusa. Could maybe break them up a little bit more, help you try to isolate to get the lasso opening.
Kasane, oh, hold on a minute, Kasane. Hookshot, it's off the mark. Kasane decides he wanted to go on a solo mission there. Will rejoin his team.
Regeneration.
Pushing out the mid wave, trying to relieve some pressure off the Dire base. They'll see Nisha's Spirit Bear. Kasane immediately just going to go right into it with the lasso. No hesitation. I mean, that is basically just a real hero going down, though Nisha will respawn it back up. If you could find it a second time right here and now, it would be massive, though Whitemon, trying to leap away, will get away from the bear. No entangles. They see the bear now, Nisha. He might lose his actual hero as the bear is gone.
He has to refresh though.
Never mind. Here's a third bear.
Oh, God. TSM, they can't even follow through after killing that bear, even if they'd feel confident now. Liquid smoking up with his little tool on hand.
I mean, it's their last bear here, John. Mating season's over. Kasane, Omar, gonna make the jump in. Tomato is there to help, however. Omar gonna be saved for now by Insania. The disruption buying Omar some time. Now the defense healing him up. Kasane, he's just gonna go right after the Dusa with his last breath. They've got him. TA2000's down. Problem is the Ancient is under siege. Ari's forced to try and defend
bear.
on his own. Meanwhile, Insania, fish it up, probably will drop, and he will. Ari still trying to defend. The Spirit Bear is going after the Ancient. They'll have to deal with that. Tomato's forced to TP back. They've got the Spirit Bear down. Meanwhile, Whitemon and Bryle are still going by themselves after Omar, and they will find the clockwork. 3 down for Liquid.
Oh my god.
That Ancient, though, that Ancient was in big, big trouble. You cannot underestimate the Aghanim Scepter Lone Druid.
No, you certainly can't. And they'll have another bear in 50 seconds. This is really in Liquid's control. Even after dropping a fight like that, it doesn't feel like TSM can do much of anything. Like, they're still stuck defending. They can't go out for a push. They can't try to secure Roshan off the back of this. Still a very difficult game for the side of TSM. Liquid providing some openings, though. I'm getting a little bit too overconfident and trying to take these follow-up fights. But they're confident enough because, man, what do you do if you're TSM? Like, at least you have a full Mjolnir up on Ari. So a little bit of an easier time for him to just try to clear out. I don't think the Ember even needs to join these fights anymore. He can just stay, be the base defense at this point going forward. And if TSM starts to keep finding these openings with Kasane now, keep landing these lassos. Again, we're not even seeing any curse from Bryle. So the lasso alone's enough with a follow-up stuns and with damage coming through from Tomato. Let's see though, like, ideally for TSM, if they can stay outside their base long enough to take Roshan, and then the game kind of doesn't bounce back to them, but they've got the better opportunity to look for the end game if they take the next Rosh.
Speaking of Rosh, it is 5 seconds away here, John. You speak of the devil, he might just appear. The TSM do not get the scout
they don't
out.
check again.
Oh, they're going through the
They
twin
take the
gates.
gate.
They spotted Zai. Zai was taking the outpost. They know he's around there somewhere.
Take us.
Can they actually find him, though? He's just smoked up.
Dire
They are trying to get there. Zai, he does have Nisha's Spirit Bear around as well. His team is close enough to join a team fight if necessary here to save the Shaker. And in fact, Zai is the one that's going for the hunt. Ari's going to be the target. Echo Slam is there. Ari looking to die will go down. But now the curse is out here from Bryle. They'll try and go after the Deucer. The mana's gone. TA2000,
no
he
fight
will
back.
drop. It's a nice start here to the team fight. They've got the Spirit Bear to boot. Liquid need to run. Liquid need to retreat. Insania, he'll be left behind. Disruption is going to buy him a little bit of time. He'll blink towards the north, and TSM, they don't have the vision. Insania's fine to TP away.
That's Roshan. That's 100% Rosh going the way of TSM. No Medusa, no buyback. They can try to keep split pushing with Nisha and the Bear with a refresh still ready. But Ari can just kind of handle that on his own. He's got decent enough farm on the Ember to kind of try and get that time going for themselves. And Rosh will go the way of TSM. It's not going fast, though. It's only really Tomato and Whitemon here.
Look at bot lane, though, John. Look at bot lane. There's 3 heroes from Liquid. They're trying to do something cheeky. Kasane, he's not going to get hit by the Fisher. He's okay. And Liquid, I think, realize now they can't actually try and sneak through the bottom lane to go after the Ancient.
It's such a slow Rosh. They're still trying to poke and prod. Tomato's just done. They want to take the fight instead.
Oh, okay. Screw the Roshan. Nisha's been spotted. Nisha, he'll try for a TP, but the lasso is going to hold him down. He won't make it. Nisha is going to the grave. No buyback available for Nisha.
Oh boy. This is scary.
He's down for 95 seconds here, Jonathan. This could be the opening TSM's been looking for. I mean, it has to be the opening they're looking for.
It's the biggest kill you could ask for. You don't have to worry about the bear split pushing in. Again, you can just kind of leave Ari behind to deal with the creeps as they come out.
Ooh. He barely blinks away here from the AM. Brawl's about to break the smoke to Insania. Twinkle Toes does avoid the smoke break, and he's going to be okay. Roshan is going to go the way of TSM. There'll be a refresher shot on this third Roshan of the game. I mean, surely you give that over to Bryle, but it seems like Tomato's actually going to take it himself for now. Tomato, you just look at his items, John. He's just got too many things going on here. Classic AM problems. 57.5 minutes in.
Oh, good God.
What if they gave AM a pet companion, John? Why doesn't AM get a bear?
Why should he, Mike? Why should he get a bear?
I don't.
What
Maybe.
lore reason do you have on hand? Just a random thought in your mind. Oh, you know what? Let's give AM a bear. You could just play ability draft if you want that, Mike. Okay, pick up the Spirit Bear there while playing AM. No need to ask for the actual game to have that.
Oh, bottom? So, oh boy, they found Omar. Omar, nice hook shot away. Finding the angle. TSM, they are still looking for the chase. Sentries and vision has been placed in this area, so TSM, realizing they probably would be fighting at a disadvantage, do back their way out immediately. Smart choice by TSM, but they need to defend the Ancient. Kasane, he will jump in and make that happen.
This is such a game for TSM and Liquid. Who would have expected it to go the way of 60 minutes for this kind of draft?
Hey. Let's not say the 60-minute word. Don't say the number, right? Because you know what happens with these T5 items every time we bring it up.
It's done. Game's over. It's just a minute left. Won't see.
I've said that a few times as well, haven't I, John? Just a minute left. Famous last words.
To be fair, I don't think TSM can really reach outside of Roshan, outside of their base, to fully look for those tier 5 items, unfortunately. With the game state as it is. Still have Aegis for 3 minutes here, but the buybacks have, well, they've saturated a point where the heroes with no buybacks are dead. So you're kind of in the safe for the side of Team Liquid. TSM will try to smoke out once more. This game is this game's on the knife's edge. Just one opening is necessary for either side here, Mike.
Remember what Ramsey said yesterday during our interview with Nine Pandas, John? You play better when there's no stress. Maybe that's what it is for Liquid. There's no stress right now. Obviously, they've already been eliminated, but it's all about winning. They're just having a fun game for themselves at this point.
Yeah. TSM certainly aren't having a fun game for sure.
No.
A lot on the line. If they get a 2-0, a little bit more secure, as other teams could also 2-0 to kind of break that tie. A draw here is just relying on others to lose. Of course, not the best game plan to stay alive in the tournament. So there's a lot of stress for TSM. Well, maybe not Whitemon as long as you give him noodles, I suppose.
I have a feeling Whitemon's not slurping noodles right now, John. Here we go. Tier 5 items are here. Apex for Tomato, Fallen Sky for the Deucer, Force Boots for Zai. He has been enjoying a lot of the mobility here on the Shaker. What else have we got? So if you go Apex for a Universal Hero, what happens?
25 to all attributes.
Oh, it does say that, doesn't it? I can't
Yes,
read, John, you know that.
I know you can't, Mike. It groups group number 8 with the evidence of that.
I mean, are you gonna do me like that, John? Spirit Bear gets caught out. Nisha, he'll be dropping this one. Plus 300 for Kasane. Bottom lane, who are they chasing? Zai, he popped an Echo Slam to try and disengage, but he is down. Force Boots now up on Bryle as well.
'Tis mine.
That's rather interesting that he goes for Force Boots. I'm wondering, I wish we could see every single item they could have possibly taken.
Kasane, purge out. Couple heroes here from Liquid. TA2000, he'll offer all the damage they require, and Kasane is down. He does have buyback. Meanwhile, Tomato gonna find Nisha on the lone druid. Arrows flying in. Nisha's locked down, and Nisha, I think, is just dead.
He doesn't have buyback still.
He doesn't have buyback.
There he goes.
What? This is... That's the opening. TSM, surely. You don't have that much time left in the Aegis, to be fair. Your high ground's still completely naked, so someone's got to sit back and defend every time, but... that should be your opening, to do something on the map here. Even Zai buys out for the next 50 seconds, not going to have anything to show. But does get the BKB.
Look, John, everyone's going for the Force Boots today.
It's a pretty good item. You know? It's you can go past the speed limit. So no Dota comps here, no tickets for you.
Very good,
And I suppose the utility of Force Staff is pretty nice. You know, it's always nice to have Force Staff on hand.
True. This is like the old Force Staff as well, right? Like, this is how old Force Staff used to be, almost. With the amount of range you get out of it and how fast it happens.
Pretty much.
Brings me
It
back.
is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, how has this game equalized to less than a 1k lead for TSM? Win probability only 66% for Liquid. What a nutty game.
It is nutty.
This is... I'm just mind blown. Early on, TSM had a lot of opportunities. They mis-execute. Now they're executing on top of Liquid really well. I mean, again, you're sitting through this period with no buyback for Nisha quite nicely. He'll be back up shortly.
I'm on.
Oh,
Breaks a 5-man smoke. Zai is in though. He did not try to leap away. Whitemon is down. Buyback is available.
loses the gem, which is a little bit annoying. That's a pretty big loss, actually, just giving that over. Well, giving it back to Liquid, I suppose, here. So you're not going to be able to be as sneaky for Bryle. At least, again, you find some openings. At what point do Liquid just commit? Surely it's around this time now.
I mean, you gotta be careful, Jonathan, because one lost team fight and suddenly you're in pretty big trouble. Keep in mind, Nisha still doesn't have buyback gold. It's 1.4k away from that. Luckily, you just need the Spirit Bear to stay alive, to be fair. And the Spirit Bear does have a Mirror Shield now, which should help. Book of Shadows coming out now on Whitemon. Which brings up the question, Jonathan. Where's the Book of the Dead? Where's the Book of the Dead?
Who cares about
You know
that? Book
what?
of Shadows superior.
If nobody cares about it, then why did it get deleted from Dota? Bring it
Because
back.
it's too much. When you can buy it, it's too much. When you get it at 60 minutes, it's not enough. You know, Mikey, there's a little thing called timing, Mikey.
What if we
timing
brought
of that
Necro
item.
Book back, and after 60 minutes you could upgrade it to Book of the Dead, but you get more Necro units? What about
No.
that?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you can't read it anyway, Mike. I don't know why you're so obsessed with books if you can't read.
Well, that's why I can't read, John, because there's no books left in the game. They took Tomb out as well.
Oh, that's
Like, what do you
true.
want me to do?
I read in real life, Mike. There's such a thing as real life books. I'm pretty sure you read some manga. Doesn't seem to be helping your cause here.
Don't expose me like that, John. All right?
Very
Nobody knew I
unfortunate.
read manga until you said it. A
Very
tomato.
unfortunate, Mike.
You might need to read the way this game's going, John, because he's been fishing. It's fine for now. The Manta illusions. The army is incoming. There's your 5-man smoke here from TSM. It's just so hard to smoke when you've got all these mega creeps just going into your base constantly. It's Liquid prepping, are going to jump in. They're right on the back. Bryle, he's a huge target and he's down. He'll commit the buyback though. Insania being targeted by Whitemon, but they just cannot deal with the Medusa. Mind you, he doesn't have BKB left. TSM still fighting for their lives to try and survive in this game one as they're after the Spirit Bear now. The Spirit Bear getting hit by an arrow is going to go down the once I believe as it is gone. Liquid, do they want to keep going? They'll bring another bear out. There's your Echo Slam. Bryle's been caught. He can't die another time. He will run out of range, but the hook shot. Omar, he is not allowing it. Bryle is down. Whitemon's down. Ari's gone to burn. All the buybacks incoming. The glyph is out on the Ancient, but can they actually survive? It's completely surrounded. Liquid are ignoring the heroes. They'll go for the Ancient and the game's over. The game is over. TA2000 ending with an ultra kill.
Oh, my
Oh
God.
boy, and TSM, you know, John,